moving in and out of human bodies, almost like a walk-in. So it's not something that's, you deal in finite on this planet, and we don't deal that way. So these questions are very difficult for us to answer.
Okay. Yeah, I want to pin you down a little bit on that, though. Would there be Pleiadians among us in most countries?
Yes. We feel the more developed countries have more Pleiadian, only because the consciousness is more likely to be of benefit to that culture than some of the other cultures. Now, having said that, there are other energies that are within those other cultures that are more resonant, shall we say, to that where that particular culture is. A culture that you would call maybe even currently backwards, or not as not as, we don't want to say evolved, but we'll say evolved for the sake of this discussion. They have other energies that are likened to them, so that they can relate to that, and those energies and energetically are there to help them to move forward on their journey.
Okay. And perhaps too, those countries have developed a little bit more because of the Pleiadian presence. Maybe it works both ways.
Well, as we say, it wouldn't be Pleiadian so much as other energies that resonate with that culture at that time, and the current time.
Yeah. In your own physical form, can you describe what you look like? Height, weight, build, that sort of thing.
We're usually about 6 to 7 feet tall, sometimes taller. We are thin and blue, and we have heads that are much larger than any circumference of the rest of our body. We have long fingers and somewhat long toes, but we have 4 fingers instead of 5. We don't really need an opposable thumb, because we do so many things energetically that it's not necessary. We have eyes that are disproportionately large to our head size, and we have small mouths because we still do so much telepathically even when we're in the physical.
Do you eat to sustain the physical form?
Sorry?
Do you eat or in some way nourish the physical form?
No, it takes a lot of energy for us to become physical. And we don't, there's, on the other side, on our side, we don't really need to be physical. So we don't expend that energy in that direction.
The degree to which you intervene in human affairs, can you describe that a little bit? When do you intervene? How have you, or do you? That kind of thing.
We have been given a green light, as you would say, to be able to intervene beneficially, more so in the last 20 years than we were allowed to before that. This is because of the consciousness of humankind that has allowed us to do that, plus the Council of Light and the Guardians have been allowing us to do this, because they knew that ascension was on the horizon. We still primarily do not interfere, well, intercede, shall we say, without some kind of subconscious or energetic say-so, approval from you. So that doesn't mean that consciously you're aware that, like, it's not like putting out a prayer and saying, God, I need your help and please answer my prayer. I mean, yes, that happens too, but primarily it's a subconscious and energetic spiritual asking for the health of the planet, because you see, what you don't recognize yet is that your brains have the capability to understand so much more than you can consciously understand. And so there's that whole spiritual, energetic aspect of your brain that is reaching out there and asking for help, asking for guidance, asking for support and love to help you along your journey, because that part of you is recognizing how we're looking for a word here, how we're hearing frazzled, but that's not the word. It's how disoriented you are in time and space when you get into that level. And we're looking for words here, because there's, once you get into 5 and 6D, the consciousness is so different. We can't even describe it to you because we can't find the words yet. But that is the part of you that is reaching out to us and to all of us on this side for help, because you have all been in places where we are now, and that side of you, but you don't consciously know it. So you can't bring it. That's why we're having trouble with the words, because we can't find the words for your limited vocabulary to explain what we're trying to explain.
Yes. Okay. Well, I think I can just accept that it's a little outside of my purview or ability. If Putin were to launch a nuclear bomb towards the U.S., could you step in and intercept it or neutralize it in some way?
Yes, we have done this in the past. Not necessarily in Russia, but we have done this with, we interceded with Cuba, the Cuban crisis. So there have been times in your history where we have been able to help you not annihilate yourselves, shall we say. There is so much discordance on this planet still that, and a lot of it comes from your leaders. And of course, a lot of you elect your leaders. You don't understand yet how to elect somebody that will truly look after your well-being, because it has been ingrained in you ancestrally for so many years that it is not really quite within your grasp to be able to do that yet. And so we find that the leaders that are currently so-called leading, we would say more controlling, that they are still able to do whatever their controllers want. And no one politician is an energy unto itself.
Their controllers being the IMF and Klaus Schwab and that group, and then off-planet people controlling them.
We would say not so much the off-planet anymore, but the controllers on the Earth, corporations, the individuals that have a lot of money, the Bill Gateses, the Elon Musks of the world. They are the ones that are really pulling a lot of puppet strings to some of the leaders of the world.
Well, I won't go down that road any further today, but that's always interesting. What sort of education or training would a Pleiadian likely get, probably in the early years, but maybe ongoing forever, um, especially training for dealing with humans?
A lot of the so-called training is just our consciousness level, and that is why we are carefully chosen, we would say, to be working with you, because even though we are physically closer than some of the other star systems, it is still quite a jump for us to try to understand your physicality, your emotions, your viewpoint, because it has been so long, other than those of us that are currently incarnated in a human body, that we have been in that situation ourselves. And so it still remains quite a jump for us to be here to work with you. Now, having said that, it doesn't mean that it really impedes what we are here to do for you and what you are asking us to do, but it does take a special consciousness. Let's just say that, because it's
Yeah. Is there any sort of, well, I guess we go right back to when a Pleiadian begins a life, is there a family, a community, or how are they raised? And are they taught some of the basics of life in some kind of an education system?
Well, yes, but we would say it's more of a consciousness, and we all have a certain consciousness level that we build on, and it depends on our experiences, our energetic experiences, as to how that consciousness will build. And then at some point, at about year 100 or so of a particular evolutionary path, we would come before the council to, for lack of a better word, be interviewed to see if we are suited to work, say, with those of you on Gaia or work elsewhere, and what our path going forward might look like.
Mm-hmm. And this council, would that be the Guardians of Light or something else?
Well, yes, primarily. There are several councils, but there are Pleiadian councils as well that would that is where we would start, and then we would move up to the Council of Light, and they would they have different avenues for us to go into, based on our evolutionary light at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess, are they the ones that determine what it is that Pleiadians will do?
Well, it is a mixture of the evolution of that particular energy, which you would call a Pleiadian. You see, it's really difficult for us to talk about this because there is no such thing as one Pleiadian. I mean, we have a consciousness that is of the one, and so we can't say that this is a Pleiadian brain and this is the brain that is saying we're going to come to Earth and help you and so forth. It is a collective energy that is given a mission, if you will, to, in this case, come to Earth. So it's a matter of what the consciousness